Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attack Productions. Today, Bankrupt joins again by Fluff and Adam.
What up, people?
Hey everyone.
In today's matchup is Fluff taking on Adam. We have Fluff bringing us the new Gogeta deck from Critical Bolo, and Adam is bringing back Android 18, Red Blue. And me and Adam talked about this before. I don't know if he'll get off in this match. We'll find out, but he does incorporate the omnidirectional beam, which is just new tech. So buttons, links, check them out. Let's get into the matchup.
How's that Gogeta deck working out, Fluff?
You know, this was my first foray into actually getting to use the deck. So I apologize in advance if there's any misplays or if there are slow lines of play. I didn't really know what to expect with this deck kind of coming into it. Like, you have the general idea when you throw a deck together, but there's nothing like actually being in a game and being in the scenario to know how cards are going to work. So what you'll see is this deck doesn't do a lot for the first 3 turns of the game.
I will say, I've only seen your list now and Nick's list, and I feel like yours is a more controlling list, and Nick's is a more go aggro until he pivots to control, where yours feels like it's all control.
Yeah. The deck really, like, so in order to awaken, there's no alternate awaken condition. You have to be at 5 life. And then in order to see awaken, you have to be at 3 life. So really the name of the game is controlling the damage that you take when you want to take that damage. And you'll see I added the Veku off the top 5 search there. Out of playing the deck for the night, I've decided that Veku is garbage. And I'm going to end up cutting the card completely. And I don't even know that it gets better when the promo Veku comes out, to be truthful.
Because I remember you and Nick were talking about that after the match, and I think you both kind of agreed on that in the end.
Yeah. Adam, tell us a little about your Android 18. This is a blast from the past. This is set 7?
It is
or set 8?
Yeah, alternate win conditions, man. That's the name of the game for me. So it's the old Android 18 mill deck utilizing Frieza at 100%, I think, like that, or 100% overpowered, and basically negging out all of the battle cards on the opposite side of the field, and that results in milling 2 cards for every time that happens. There was an errata on it that eliminated the ability for you to neg your token cards on your opponent's field. But the omnidirectional beam card is a 3 red cost for 1 Z energy to neg the entire field, regardless of whether it's token or battle card. So that's the ultimate desire, is to get that omnidirectional beam out.
Establish Frieza, and then use omnidirectional beam, establish Frieza, and then crack it. Or to play it. It's on play. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on play for the omnidirectional beam. And I didn't even realize that you had charged a blue-red card that first turn. So I didn't realize that your entire deck was blue-red.
Yeah, and there's lots of different builds for the old school Android 18 mill deck. I kind of cross-referenced this build with some of the other ones that I saw online, but I include a couple of extra cards. There's a chilled card, a 1-drop chilled card that I include, that if it gets popped during my opponent's turn, I get to play a Frieza's Clan 3 cost or less for free, which is really nice to help me get that evolve target for my big Frieza early.
Yeah. I was not expecting it, and I wasn't really prepared for you going into that Frieza. We'll see that when the time comes. Here, I'm just spending energy to spend energy. I don't really have anything else to do. I want a couple draws. I want to get the Z extra card established for once I start going into Gogetas. There's just not a lot, like I said, there's not a lot to do in turn 1, 2, and 3 some of the time.
Yeah, that for those who don't know, that field card that I have that gets played from deck at the beginning, that essentially gives whichever battle card gets played for the turn first cannot attack. That includes both your opponent and and your own cards. So if I was to play something like a Floodgate, like an Android 17 or whatever, and you hadn't played a card, then now all of your cards could play if they're summoned, which is nice.
Yeah, that the field card actually presented a little bit of a problem for me over the course of this match because the Gogeta 8 drops are 4 energy to dedicate to the field. So on turn 4, I'm going to tap out to put one of those Gogetas out. And I'm not really going to have another opportunity to play a battle card that turn. So I don't get to swing with the double strike that turn. So this game is just attrition for me, and I'm really afraid of your unison getting the double strike off, which is why I keep putting swings into your unison.
Remind me,
Yeah.
your Z leader is activate battle speed, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, so the turn you want to play your the Gogetas that cost 4 to play, you have to definitely like time. Do not attack anything first, and hopefully he doesn't have an Android 16 on the board to prevent your clones from. Actually, no, I forgot. 13 has the same +1 or +2 effect as well, doesn't it?
yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So yeah,
But this Gogeta deck, the thing that I figured out over the course of the night is this deck is all about sequencing. There are tricky moments in the course of sequencing with this deck where it can just get weird. And if you do it wrong, it just stalls your entire turn, or you miss out on huge opportunity swings.
And
Or
it creates a difficult accountability type of a situation because me as the player who isn't versed in that the Gogetas and stuff, like I have to read that wall of text to make sure that you're sequencing right. And it's, I mean, at some point in time, especially on the local level, you're just like, okay, just play whatever you're going to play. Let me know what you're doing.
yeah, yeah. But like, you when you get into the Z leaders activate battle, and then you've got the extra cards effect, and then you've got double Aegis or more per turn, and you're playing using Union Fusion, and all your effects go into pending. The order in which you resolve those, the order in which you swing with a particular card, the cards that your opponent decides to negate will oftentimes affect the route that you have to take with this deck. So this deck is a real trial by fire, figuring out your optimal sequencing while also trying to chess play your opponent through, where I think is where Nick's build is probably a little bit superior to mine because he gets that little bit of flexibility and aggro in the early turns, whereas I'm passing and electing what damage to take.
Yeah, I think he runs the Piccolo Pan package in his deck.
Yeah, and I think he runs Rose, Goku Black, which I found the biggest struggle for this deck is actually generating Z energy enough to Z Awaken
Yeah.
when you need to Z Awaken, plus play the Z extra card. At times, that can be really, because you don't want a combo unless the combo is meaningful. And there were a couple points through the night where my opponent would hit me with like a 25K, and I just want to combo one card to Z charge, but I don't want a combo to get out of the attack. And it's almost like a demotivator to not combo at all.
You've got something. Is it the Z extra card that doesn't trigger unless you've got 5 energy? There's
No.
something that you had to have 5 energy to be able to. Oh, maybe it was wrong.
Oh, yeah. So the Z extra card, you have to have 5 or more energy to activate battle, which is to give your leader 30,000 triple strike. You have to have 5 energy for that. But the permanent on the Z extra card lets me Aegis with cards out of my drop instead of getting rid of cards in my hand.
Yeah, and there's that field card doing a little bit of work. You play that Gogeta, and it's the first card that you played, so you can't attack with it.
Yeah.
But not only are you blue, but you also have lots of ways to Aegis, so being tapped out isn't so bad.
Yeah, that was the real strength of this deck is there were points in the tournament where I would rebate 2 on my turn and then activate Aegis 2 to 3 times on my opponent's turn. So I'm getting an additional 6 to 8 energy every turn.
Is that do you think that's a balance issue at all? I mean, do you think it should be a limit 1 or a unique on those?
I don't think so. Because it creates windows where your opponent has the opportunity. Because I can't negate the attack if I want to Aegis. So if you sequence correctly, get in with your triple strike combo up before I have the opportunity to activate blocker or anything like that. There's definitely ways to get through it. And while I think this deck is really good, I don't think it beats something like Green Gohan from last set. I think Green Gohan is too aggressive too early. I think the cards that it plays are too impactful. I think once you get into the late game where you're grinding back and forth, that 8-drop becomes too much of a liability for the Gogeta player. So it's just really difficult to play around. And I think that deck will probably continue to see a superior ranking compared to this Gogeta deck at a competitive level.
So I'm still a little bit away from being able to combo or get my combo off. I need to have 2 red energy, 1 blue energy to evolve on top of the Frieza that gets played by from the counter attack, and then I need another 3 red to hit that omnidirectional beam. Fluff, you and I talked a little bit about it. Your assessment, Dr. Fluff, was that the omnidirectional was probably a little bit too expensive.
I think omnidirectional being without the Cell Max leader is really expensive. It's a really good effect. And with the combo that you're going for, you're kind of going for a turn 6 win. Because you need to be able to establish the Frieza, evolve into the Frieza, and then go into omnidirectional being following that. And I think it just puts you a turn behind where you really want to be.
Yeah, it really did feel most of the night. This felt if the deck had a name, it would be one more turn. That's what I wish I had.
Yeah, for sure. Here I established a second 8-drop, so now I'm going to be able to Aegis twice. I did mess up during this turn. I should have. Oh, well, you negated the attack, so I wasn't able to activate battle. But the leader has an activate battle, which is basically an Aegis type effect for your turn, and then locks you into only playing yellow cards for the rest of the turn. So if you spend energy, you can use the leader's effect to activate battle to restand 2 energy, so you're not passing completely tapped out. And I found myself forgetting that effect at points. When you threw this Frieza down is the exact moment that I realized you were playing red.
Wait, it was at that moment?
Yeah, that's when I realized that Adam was playing red. And I'm like, fuck. Thankfully, the Gogetas are 35K.
They are. Yep.
So
just a little bit more.
So I don't lose them on this swing. I'm able to block, prevent the triple strike. I'm able to perform a little bit of activate battle magic here. So you'll kind of see the strength the deck offers here. So I get to, because of the Z extra card, I get to Aegis with cards in my drop. That's not once per turn. So I'm not sacrificing hand advantage. Plus, when I activate Aegis, the blockers restand themselves. And tap a card, I believe.
And is Aegis is on defensive turn, is on defense only, correct?
It's only defense step, yeah. Yeah, and then I'm able to Kefla that Frieza out so that Frieza's no longer a threat to me.
That was the right move. So now I'm facing 2 SS Gogetas, 1 Kefla, and then whatever the heck you're going to play next turn. And I'm feeling outmatched at this point.
I will say it was really genius of you to play that free Krillin blocker.
Yeah.
Because that lets you trigger your field ability without hindering your Frieza.
Right.
And I think that was a genius line of play.
Well, thank you. Yeah, there are not many cards. I mean, there are lots of cards that are more than 30K, but I mean most of them are pretty squishy. They don't tack on barrier as well. So I think in a normal match, this could have turned out a little bit differently. I just couldn't get that extra 5K off on those SS Gogetas.
Yeah. Yeah. Those Gogetas are hard to remove because for the turn they're played, they can't be removed by skill until the end of the opponent's next turn. And then they're just big bodies on top of that. So if you're relying on red to neg them out, it's usually a 2 to 3 card investment to get them off the field, which I feel like is a pretty good exchange most of the time.
Good old Oob, making sure that I don't have the pieces that I need.
I'm trying to create an opening to actually deal damage against you. Playing blue, I don't know if you have Baby Hatch in your hand. I don't know how many negates you've got in your hand, but I'm not expecting any of these attacks to go through.
Yeah, and I've got good old absolute release ball that hits things 3 or less, and I'm just laughing at myself, thinking, "Oh, that's a useless counterplay against this deck. Everything is so big."
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the third Gogeta that I played. I played 3 in the deck, and I just happened to see 3 of them. So I'm going to get 3 Aegis effects off if the game goes through. But you didn't have a negate in hand, so I'm going to combo out on this Kefla and do as much to push through as I can.
Yeah, I do still have an energy open. You can see my OCD, my finger flicking there. That happens when I get nervous. But yeah, I've got 1 life left. I did not have another negate in my hand. And so I'm letting you combo up to whatever the heck you want to do your shenanigans.
Yeah, and this is where that leader ability to restand 2 energy really comes in clutch. Because I'm able to restand 2 energy and then just combo out my entire hand. And utilizing the multicolor cards that are actually in my hand. This is probably the first deck that I played that's largely multicolor, that it doesn't feel like a brick if you have like 5 or 6 multicolor cards in your hand.
Yeah, and anybody that's been in this type of situation, when you pull a negate off of your super combo, it just feel bad, which is exactly what happened. So
it's infuriating.
So that's what would have happened next turn, hopefully, but we'll never know. We'll never know.
This is one of those things where, like, the fact that Gogetas aren't unique, yeah, they cost a lot, but man, once you start getting those things on the board, it's an uphill battle for your opponent, I feel like.
Yeah, I almost feel like that card should have been balanced with having unique. Because, like, the big bodies of Moss cards all have unique on them.
Yeah. Well, also, like, in this case right here, before we end the video, I just want to say, like, the once per turn auto is once per turn for that said card. So, like Fluff said, like, he could proc Aegis, for example, if he had all 3 on the board, play a Kefla, and then proc Aegis on the other one in the same combo, in the same battle step, and initially tap down 3 of his opponent's cards. In this case, he could have tapped down 3 of, like, Adam's energy, because that auto gets to that as well. Oh, no, sorry, battle card or uses. I think I'm mixing that up with a secret. Regardless, that's really good. Thank you all for tuning in. Keep in mind, there's buttons, links. I like to misread cards. Have a good day.